Hello, guys, and welcome to this live chat and talk. We don't get to do too many live talks and chats, but today we're going to be doing one because we want to have a couple conversations here. And so we are going to be having a conversation about Legion. Well, that's what we mainly cover here. Star Wars Legion is our game that we cover the majority of the time. There are a few other Star Wars games we will cover and we'll hit connections with and stuff, but we are mainly a Star Wars Legion podcast or chat or resource thing that you whatever you want to call it. But today I want to have a conversation, and if you're in chat and you get in chat and you talk, please take a moment to give us a live chat and let us really have an opportunity to be a part of this, and that way we can kind of see what's going on and we can chat more about what's going on. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to present a few questions that I have, and they're all about atomic mass games. So the question here is about what our state of the game is of Legion, Star Wars Legions under atomic mass games. And so the first question is, are they giving you what you want? That's a good question. Are they giving you what you want? And second question is, are they changing the game? Are they making the game different for the better or for the worse? Are they making the game different? And the last question, is the game getting better? Well, it's not the last questions, but these are the questions that we have to ask. And the final question is what can we do as a fan of Star Wars Legion to make sure the game is sustainable for the long term? Because we all are, if we're watching this, you're part of the probably watching it because Legion is your game of choice. There are many great games out there, and Legion is by far one of my favorite games, and for the most cases, it's going to be, if you're watching this, your favorite game as well. And so today we're just going to take a look at the state of Legion under Atomic Mass Games, because it's been about 2 years since Atomic Mass Games has taken over, and Atomic Mass Game is now producing their own resources. Now, I could have done this as a little recorded video and doing it that way, but I was hoping that maybe we can get a few people coming on and chatting about the state of the Legion as well, and I could answer some questions and talk. But if not, I'm just going to ramble on and talk about where I see Legion is going and the things that are going. And so that is kind of the premise here, and this is what we're trying to look at and see for the outcome. Now, I'm not coming at this with a bias towards Atomic Mass Games or towards Fantasy Flights. I think they both have their pluses and minuses, and I'm not seeing a bias. I'm not a fanboy for one or the other, but I do think that there is definitely a difference between the way the two companies view the game and the way they bring the game to us on a larger part. And so I think it's important that we look at the first question. And so the first question is, are they giving you what you want? Now, this is a very subjective question because maybe you are a person who really wants all the cool new fancy things. And if you're joining the chat or you're watching this, please say hi and ask some questions so I can continue to go through this. Maybe you're loving this, what they're doing. They're giving you exactly what you want. They're giving you new cool units regular. And it's important that we do get new units because that brings life into the game. And I think that the Shadow Collective did a lot for the game. It brought new life and it's bringing new things. But at the same point, before Shadow Collective released, I think the game was at the healthiest it was ever at for competitive balance. And so the balance between each faction was probably at the best it's ever been in the game. And it was really, you can see that in the competitive play. I'm not a major competitive play, but I think that there has to be a balance in the game in the way mechanics and stuff. And so we haven't seen how that balance is going to affect in competitive play yet because of things like Shadow Collective and the Battle Forces. But I believe the Shadow Collective brought new life into the game, and it brought some people back who might have quit playing and bring in new people, which is a good thing because this is a business for them and they want to make money, and to make money they need people playing their game. And so that is a positive. And but at the same time, I'm not sure. Well, we'll get to that next question when we talk to the next question. So are they giving you what you want? Are they giving you new units? They're giving you Great things. They got Saj Ventress, Ahsoka Kano coming out, Ewoks. They got so many cool little, fun little things. It's like, ooh, shiny, 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 shiny. And you get right into the cool stuff. Cody's coming out. The real reality is it what you want? And that's so subjective. And so if you want a game that is got every little Star Wars character that you've ever wanted to play with in it, they're getting there. They're reducing characters much faster. And I know that's a 2-year window, but they're reducing and producing characters much faster than Fantasy Flight used to. Is there a reason for that, though? Is there, maybe they're trying to make the most of their license while they have it? Or maybe they're just, hey, this is what people want. Let's get something out and buy. And maybe that's the reason it got taken away from Fantasy Flight and moved to Atomic Mass, because, hey, they're going to produce that who shiny, people are going to buy things stuff. And so I don't think Shadow Collective was a total Atomic Mass Games thing. I think it was Fantasy Flight and Atomic Mass Games. I believe that was the last of the mix, but heavily influenced towards Atomic Mass Games. Everything else we see coming out now is going to be Atomic Mass Games. So Dark Troopers. We are going to see the Mandalorian characters coming out. We see Moff Gideon coming out. We see the new Boba Fett coming out. We see lots of different characters. IG-88, IG-11, those are all, I think, Atomic Mass games. Now, this kind of brings me to my next question. As we said, I was talking about in the first part, we were talking about the question, are they giving you what you want? And I think they are. But the second question is are they changing the game? The game that we started playing, Star Wars Legion, is it inherently getting different? And I have to say, yes, the game is changing. Is that change for better or for worse? The question that we have to answer now is that question, the game changing for better or worse? I think if you want to just play in your local living room, in your local store, you want to play for fun, I think the game is getting better because there's going to be lots of units. But I'm afraid that there's also in the process a large power creep. I'm looking at the units that are coming out right now, and I'm looking at them and saying, why wouldn't I take them? Why wouldn't I take these units? And so because of that, it's kind of like a power creep of some sort. Now, let me give you an example of this. The reality is we need to kind of look at this to see the example of this as a whole. And so I'm going to take a look at Din. Now we bring in Din Djarin in here, and I'm just going to bring it a little closer to here so you can see. Now, if we just take a look at his card, Arsenal 2, 105 points, Bounty, which is great because Rebels never had Bounty before, Impervious, Pierce X, Independent Aim 1, and Dodge 1. So he gets an aim and a dodge if you don't give him order. It's pretty good. Tactical 1. So 5 health, 3 red defense, surge to hit, surge to block. Weapons are red, black, white, lethal, long shot, and versatile, which is he can get that up to range 3 with the long shot. Versatile means he can fire out of close combat. That in itself is pretty good. But that isn't the thing. Like he's 105 points, which is good. But IG-88, also 100, IG-11, sorry. Also 105 points. Armor 1, Gunslinger, Impervious, Pierce X, or Impervious to Pierce X, Programmed, Sharpshooter, 2 weapons, 2 black, white, and red at range 4, 1 to 3 a white and 2 a black, 2 whites, pierce. Close combat 4 reds. Surge to hit 5 and 2. All good. 105 points. But if we look at these, we have to also look at like what's competing in that point range. And so let's take Han Solo. Gunslinger, 6'2", white defense, surge to hit, surge, uncanny luck, steady, sharpshooter 1, gunslinger. Only 1 weapon, pierce 2 though. I think the way it's going, we're going to see things like Han Solo, we're going to see things like other units not make the cut as much. Because the reality is that these new units have a power creep. And how do you get away from power point? Well, point adjustments, one thing. What we don't want as players is the new stuff to be so good that I can't use the old stuff. I know we want to use the new stuff because it's so shiny, but I want to be able to use the old stuff just as strong. And nothing more says this than the command cards. The power creep is huge when it comes to certain command cards. I haven't played all these units, but you look at Whistling Birds, for example. It does attacks on 3 units with the white dice. On a surge, a hit, or a crit, it does an automatic wound. And it gets 1 dice for every unit, a miniature in the unit. So we're looking at, if we're going against B1s, we're looking at a possible 18 dice. And a 3 1/8 chance to do automatic damage, not defendable. I think that card would be just as good if it was a hit instead of a wound. So they had a chance to defend it. Like, I think the power creep is real in that. And that I don't know if it's a good thing for competitive play. As the rules are stated right now, the Dark Troopers, when paired with Moff Gideon, can move across the board as early as round 2. Does that not seem broken for things like Bomb Carrier? Breach, Breakthrough. Bomb carriers, they can carry the bomb and drop them. Boom. Second round. 2 victory points. I don't know. I think as a competitive player, I'm not. I think these should be alarming to you. And the things that they're doing in the competitive round. I shouldn't say I'm not a competitive. I play competitively, but I'm not going to Worlds and things like that. I would play more competitive if there was more competitive in my area. But the reality is, my question here is, are the things that they're giving us good in the sense, is it going to be balanced in the game? Because I see a huge power creep right now and I'm worried. But at the same time, I love the shiny and I love the units. I love the painting of them. I love the sculpts. I love the models. I love the fact that they're doing a lot of stuff. Like I'm an Armada player. I play fairly competitively in Armada, but I haven't bought anything and I haven't played in so long because there's nothing being made. And so Legion, I'm excited about. I'm making boards. I'm building terrain all the time, man. And the hobby part is just great for me. But I'm worried about the competitive play, because when competitive play falls off, what happens is less people buy, and less showing and less people talking about it. The competitive builds the momentum. And I believe that there's probably more non-competitive players playing, but not to the fervor, not to buying the amount of stuff that the competitive people buy. The competitive people are always buying the new stuff and always testing it out and doing things. And so I think the question that I asked, is the game changing? Yes, the game is changing. For some parts, I think better. I love the fact that they're giving more variety than just the 4 standard factions through things like Shadow Collective, but also through battle forces, because you can pull things in that you couldn't get before. None of the battle forces have done that yet, but the Ewok one will. And I'd like to see the Wookiee one more into a battle force, because I think there could be a cool Kashyyyk battle force built. We have enough stuff to kind of build it. And it's simply to do, the easiest way to do a Kashyyyk battle force is with the stuff you already have, is just make them so they only have to have 1 core. And then you can get way more Kashyyyk stuff. So that's just a starter. Like, you can get 1 core and 4 special forces right there, and that makes your Kashyyyk a little bit better. And a couple, maybe 4 support. I think, and moving like that operative commander role and allowing them to be more, because like it'd be neat to have Chewie and the Wookiee commander, and maybe give Chewie a card that actually works with Wookiees rather than just with Yoda or just with the Rebels. And but I think that could be a cool battle force. And I think the battle force thing is good, and I think it's healthy, and I think it gives us lots of variety for list building, and that's what's exciting about it. My question is it balanced? Is there playtesting good enough in this? Is the game better because of AMG? Definitely more miniatures. They're producing at a quicker rate. But I'm afraid that maybe in the production of things that we want, which I want, and I love them, and they're cool, that the speed of which they're putting them out, maybe there's not enough playtesting. Or maybe their playtesting isn't good enough playtesting. Because when I play the units and looking at the cards and the things that are going, I see mistakes that could be corrected. There has been many errors and typos on the things, and I'm horrible for that. I admit I'm a bad speller. I'm bad at grammar, but when I'm catching them, that's a problem. The other, like, I understand you make them, but they shouldn't get to print. And then cards missing, like Gar Saxon's Shield. Doesn't make sense. Things like that shouldn't happen. And then the whole, is that the real base size or not base size problem they've had lately? Yeah, they corrected it by saying, yeah, that is the base size we intended. Come on, that's the base size. We don't want to restuff them. We don't want the debacle again. Here's the question. Is the game better under AMG? I think it's great for the fans of Star Wars. And I think it can be better because of the units and stuff. I'm just worried about power creep. And why do they have to make things so powerful? I often thought that they really don't need to add any new keywords because they have so many good keywords now that they can do almost anything with. I know that's not the truth, but there has to be some change. But I'm worried. Like, Din really worries me. Do I have to play Din to be competitive now? Oh, I've looked at lists with Din. Man, I've seen a nice list that I've built with Luke, Din, and Sabine. Pretty nasty. But do I have to be in that? Do I have to go into the meta of the world? Or can I play and still be competitive with playing the things I want to play? And that's what I really want. So how do we, as fans of Legion, make the game sustainable and better? How do we do that? I think it is by, one, we have to support the company, but also we have to be able to have our voices heard on some of these small issues. We need to be able to talk and chat, even like right now, as I said in this time, that the chat is something that is important, and we need, people sharing. Oh, I got a nice thing from Discipline is True Freedom. Honestly, if they just give Han Danger Sense 1 or 2, I think he would be balance him. Only thing with Han is compared to the others' survivability. Yeah, Han 2 pip and 3 pip are not good. It's true. Han, his 2 pip, 3 pips aren't great. When I put Han in there, I barely use his command cards other than the 0 pip, and even then I don't use it if I'm using like Luke and Leia. The reality is, yeah, he needs something to be more survivable. I know Chewie's kind of the thing that helps him be survivable, but you shouldn't have to always pair him with Chewie to make him a usable character. And I really don't use Han unless I have Chewie. And so I agree. Discipline is true freedom. I really agree with you. That is so true. And so the reality is, where do we go as a game? We continue to support it, yes. I think AMG is good at listening to people, but maybe they listen too much to people. And maybe that's why it goes all wild with all these different things and different different points. The reality is, I wonder who the play. I didn't look at the new sheets and where it tells you the credits and who's playtesting, and I never compared the two groups of playtesters and seen where they're at. But I'm worried that if they don't keep up quality playtesting, there's not going to be the mechanics of the game that we love that keeps us playing it, because nobody wants to play a broken game. And everybody has to house rule it just to make it fun. That's not how a game lasts or survives. And so we don't want that. We want to continue to have the fancies and enjoy all of that. But the reality is, we have to kind of make it so that the game is fun for everybody. And I went to 4 panels and I didn't mean to. And so, like looking at things to come, why wouldn't you want to take Shin? Like, I would take Din almost every time because of his one card alone. And I don't want to be pigeonholed into taking one guy. I don't want to be pigeonholed into, if I'm going to be competitive, I have to take what's neat and new. Like Echo-based commanders, like the Echo-based defenders, great. They use a lot of the old stuff, and you can make a lot of cool stuff with the old stuff with that. But like when you look at the command cards, that 3-pip might be the best 3-pip in the game. I'm not sure if this would be a complete power creep, but it might be to that extent. It might be the power creep that, look at this card. Echo-based defenders only. Each friendly unit, see that core unit, gains an aim token. That's not each one that gets a command. So if you have 6 core in your unit because you have 3 rebel veterans and 3 M2 blasters, then you got 6 aims right there. Now you've also given, if you give the ammo, the orders to the rebel veterans, they can give it to the others. The rebel veterans now have 3 dodges too. But to even make it even more nasty is, each friendly emplacement trooper unit gains 1 standby token. So now in my list, I run 3 M2s and I run 3 laser turrets. That's 6 standbys, range 3. That's nasty. That covers a lot of area. It might be power creep. I think the card might be broken. I'm a rebel player, so I kind of like it, but the reality is, you want the game to be not broken, even if you are a rebel player or you are a whatever player you play, I don't know what faction you play. If you play the game, you want it to be fair. You don't want to be unbalanced. You don't want to just play the certain units that always have to be played to win. You don't want to go to a tournament and see the same thing every time. The meta. I loved where this game was at the beginning of this year. It was more balanced than I've ever seen, except for, still balanced, except for the Gar was a little expensive. The Gar just needed to come down in price a bit. I'd say 5 points shaved off a couple of units, and Gar would have been balanced too, completely. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about where the game is at? Where do you think the game is going? Where do you think that we as players continue to do? You know, what is it that you like about the game? You know, put it in chat. Let's think about what things are going on. You know, let's have a conversation, because the reality is I love this game. But I want it to be balanced. I want it to be fun for everybody. I don't like going to a league game that we play. I have my own little league that we play in, and there's 6 of us or 7 of us. Well, there's up to 8 of us, but there's 6 of us that play quite regularly. And I don't like going and feeling like because I'm playing Rebels, I have a distinct advantage over certain people. And I like to see the fear of losing in games. I like to be able to, on that moment where I'm not sure if I'm going to win or lose, but I have to do something miraculous, heroic to win. I don't like setting up a game and looking at it and seeing in that first turn 0 and saying, hey, I think I've won this game. Even worse for the people who sit there and they look at it and they say, I've lost it. And you got to go play through 3 to 5 rounds because you're tired of the same thing. I was playing the other day, and one of the games we were playing, one of the guys in my club said, you know, I knew I lost it on turn 0. And he's just like, I had no answer for the units that he brought. Now, that could be bad list building, or it could just be an unbalance of games. So I think as Legion fans and Legion players and Legion people who enjoy the game, it's on us to make sure that we talk about it as we share our thoughts, because the reality is, if the people making the game don't realize that they've made something that is unbalanced, or they don't realize that the game that they've built is unbalanced, then we need to make sure that they know. And I don't know if that's where we're at. I think it's too early to say, because the shinies are really nice still, but we haven't even got them to play with. I've seen them played by the people at AMG, but they don't know how to play the game, which might be the saddest thing about the whole thing. I watch them play the new troops, but they don't actually know how to play the game. They make the game, but they don't know the rules. Maybe that's the dilemma. Maybe that's the brokenness of where they're at. They like to make the models, and they look beautiful. They like their games to be storytelling, which is great. I love that too. But I want it to be a balanced story that I can win with everybody. And maybe that's where it's going to be. Maybe we just need to get them out in live and action and see where things are, and then let them do their point adjustments and things like that they will do. Like, I believe Han has come a long way since the beginning. We talked about discipline is the true freedom. Talked about Han, but you remember the original Han without steady? He was brutal. So he's already come a long way. Even I think Uncanny Luck 4 would be even do something for him. Like Han, my good friend, Uncanny Luck 3 has saved me a few times. But Uncanny Luck 4, even better. Even better. I think the new low profile has been a benefit too. So, maybe I need to rate every leader. Like right now, if you are playing Rebel, you are going to be playing Luke for sure, and probably Din when he comes out. How can you not? And if you're going to be playing Empire, there's only a couple ways to really go about that. And Iden Versio might be the best Empire leader. I seem to play General Veers a bit, but Iden Versio might be the best leader. I still like Vader. Who doesn't like a person that doesn't get afraid and has no fear? I like Vader. But when you look at the points, 100 points, there's not much better than Iden Versio. Now, that's just my opinion of where the leadership is in this game. Now, Republic list, that's a harder pick to pick who's the best leader is. I played with Yoda and enjoyed it. I played with Anakin Skywalker and enjoyed it. Clone Clop and Rex used to be the best, but he's not. Maybe when Cody comes out, he'll be that, big, gotta use leader. Now, when you're playing the Separatists, like, you can throw lots of different sword using guys, but I'm not using them. There's no leader better in the Separatists than Kalani. Strategize 2 is very powerful. If you're playing them, you're playing Kalani. He's the number one leader in them. Now, when we get to our brand new faction, it's a little more up in the air, Shadow Collective, because it depends on how you want to build it. Gar Saxon's got some good things. I personally, and the way I've played them, is played with the Pike Capos, but that's just me. They're more rebel-y like that way, and I play Rebel, so I found it the biggest adjustments weren't that big when I was playing them like that. So here's the whole thing. The reality is, where are we going? And my answer is, I think we're going to a future where we get a lot of cool stuff. And we're going to have a lot of cool things to paint. Yeah. And so, as just when True Freedom just said, he forgot that he didn't start with steady. Yeah, he was really bad early on. I tried to use him all the time because I wanted to use him. And he was bad. He was really bad. But the reality is, hey, I love the game. And because of that, I keep playing the game. I keep doing things about the game. I keep making videos, keep making terrain. I've got a few terrain videos that I'm working on right now for I did show them on my shorts. Take a look at them. I did a Hoth 3x3 Hoth board, and then I did an Endor board, which was 6x3, and I did them both in 2 days with drying. I did them at the same time because that way I can move to one to the other. And I'm going to be doing a Kessel board and a board for why I just drew a total blank on the planet. Oh well. Anyways, I'm doing 2 boards again in a couple weeks. I just need to get another week where I have a week off work, and I've been videotaping the stuff and videotaping the 3D printing that I'm doing. I have a huge 3D print files going on right now. I'm printing in the next room for Ewok Village, and so I love this stuff, and I love making my boards look cool. But I want a game that continues to be worth playing. Is that the word that I want to use? I want the game that makes it fun to play. Fair. I guess that's all I got today. I just wanted to share that with you. I just wanted to share what was going on, and I'm glad for those who stuck around and chatted with me. Discipline is true freedom. Love you. Thank you for, sending out some chats and getting in the conversation. You can always get involved in our Discord, and I'll put that on some of my video links, and also get involved in other things to come. And I'd love to chat with all the people that are out there and who want to be involved, and have the conversations and get them involved in. And Discipline is true freedom. I would love to send you a Legion Outpost bag because you're getting involved in chatting, and you just have to, private message me and I'll send you that. So you have a Legion Outpost token bag. There you go. And I'd love to be able to give away more stuff, but it means we have to get in conversation. And thank you, Discipline is the true freedom, for being involved in today's conversations. And that's all for today. I'm signing off, and I think this game's going to be okay. I love the new stuff, but hopefully they can balance the rules. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, get involved, and check out some of my new videos, and especially my new terrain build videos that I've done on those 2 boards. There's a quick highlight on those shorts, just so you can see the boards. And we're going to be playing on those boards tomorrow night. So you'll see some videos coming up on at least one of those boards. And I have about 3 videos backlogs for games that we played that I will be getting up soon. As I said, I've been on holidays. I just got back in the country. I was down in Florida, Orlando, for a little while, for just over 10 days. And then I drove down, so it was a lot of driving, 24 hours in the car straight. But here's the reality. It was fun. Got to go to Edge of the Empire and got to see some cool Star Wars stuff. And I have some pictures and stuff I'll share with that on my holidays coming up soon too. And so I'm glad to be back and glad making videos, and I hope to see all you guys and get involved and maybe even get to play a game with you. For now, may the Force be with you, and goodbye.